Most people give up too soon, not because they are weak, not because they have no talent, but because they cannot survive the silence of slow progress. They work hard, they pray hard, they try hard, but when nothing seems to change, when days become weeks and weeks become months, they begin to believe that patience is for fools. In a small mountain village, where the roads were made of broken stone and the winters arrived early and stayed long, there lived a 15-year-old boy named Rami. Rami had no father. He had passed away 8 years ago. He had no horse, no land, no savings. He had only one thing his father had left behind, an old gray donkey named Bakar. Bakar walked slowly. He ate little. His fur was always dusty, no matter how much Rami brushed it. And every morning, when Rami loaded Bakar with sacks of vegetables to sell at the market, the village children laughed. "That donkey is slower than the old men. Sell him, Rami. Buy a bicycle at least. By the time you reach the market, everyone will have gone home." Rami never answered them. He only looked at Bakar, at those calm, steady eyes, and kept walking. His mother watched from the doorway every morning. One night, she sat beside him and said softly, "Rami, do you know what your father always said about Bakar?" Rami shook his head. He said, "A horse looks powerful, but a donkey is patient. And in this world, patience outlasts power every time." She held his hand. "That is the power of patience, my son. It does not look impressive, but it never runs out." Every morning before sunrise, Rami and Bakar left for the market. The journey was 3 hours each way. The road was rocky, the weather was harsh, and farmers with horses always arrived earlier, always got the best spots, the best prices, the most customers. Rami returned home, most evenings, with half his vegetables unsold. Some days, there was barely enough money for dinner. One night, after a particularly bad day, Rami sat outside his house, staring at the ground. "I wake up before sunrise," he whispered. "I walk 6 hours every day, and still, nothing changes." Bakar walked over slowly and gently, rested his head on Rami's shoulder. Rami looked at him for a long moment. Then he said quietly, "At least you understand me." He did not know it yet, but that night, sitting in the dust beside his slow donkey, was the night everything began to change. The next morning, instead of taking the main road to the market, Rami turned left onto the old mountain path. It was longer, steeper, much harder to walk. The villagers saw him and shook their heads. "Now, he has gone mad." One farmer laughed. "His donkey is already the slowest in the village, and now he picks the longest road." But Rami had noticed something. Every day on the mountain path, he passed tired travelers, merchants, pilgrims, workers, walking between villages with nowhere to stop. No food stalls, no water, nobody selling anything, because everyone with faster animals had always preferred the easy road. Rami stopped and thought carefully. The next morning, he packed extra water, dried fruits, and flatbread alongside his vegetables. On the mountain path, the first tired traveler he met bought everything within minutes. Rami stood there, money in his hand, staring at the empty basket in disbelief. He had sold more in 1 hour on the mountain path than he sold in a full day at the crowded market. When he arrived home that evening, his mother looked at his face and immediately understood. "What happened?" she asked. Rami smiled. "Bakar found us a better road." Week by week, word spread among the mountain travelers. There was a boy, always on time, always honest, always kind, selling fresh food on the mountain path. They began waiting for him, not because he was the fastest, not because he was the loudest, but because he was always there, every single day. Same time, same road, same honesty. The power of patience does not announce itself. It does not shout from rooftops. It simply shows up, again and again, until the world has no choice but to notice. Months passed. A wealthy merchant who regularly crossed the mountains had been watching Rami for weeks. One afternoon, he saw Rami stop walking in the middle of his own journey to help an elderly traveler whose load had fallen on the rocky path. Bakar stood quietly beside them, not restless, not pulling away, patient, as if he understood that some things are more important than speed. The merchant watched for a long time. Then he walked over. "Young man," he said, "I have been crossing these mountains for 20 years. I have hired many carriers, fast men with strong horses. Most of them quit when the road became difficult." He looked at Bakar. "But you come every day without fail, in every season, and your donkey stands still while you help a stranger." He paused. "I need someone to carry my goods through these mountains every week. The road is hard. The pay is good. Most people refuse. Will you do it?" Rami looked at Bakar. Bakar looked back at him, calm and steady as always. Rami turned to the merchant and nodded. "We will do it." 3 years passed. Rami's mother recovered. Their stone house was repaired, then expanded. Rami had saved enough to hire 2 helpers. And then, one monsoon season, a great storm hit the valley. 3 days of heavy rain. The main road, the fast road, the road every horse and cart and wealthy merchant had always preferred, was washed away completely. Trade stopped overnight. Farmers lost their goods. Merchants could not move their cargo. The village faced a serious shortage of supplies. The village elder called an emergency meeting. Every man sat in silence. No one had a solution. Then, from the back of the room, a quiet voice spoke. "There is one road that is still open." Everyone turned. It was Rami. "The mountain path," he said simply. Silence. Then the elder nodded slowly. For the next 2 months, Rami and Bakar made the mountain journey 6 days a week, carrying food, medicine, and supplies for an entire village that had once laughed at them. The same men who had called Bakar useless now stood at the roadside every morning, watching them pass in silence, not mocking, just watching. Because watching Bakar walk, slow, steady, never stopping, had become something they needed to see. A reminder that patience had been quietly building something that speed had never thought to build. One evening, the old farmer who had laughed the loudest walked up to Rami and said nothing for a long moment. Then he looked at Bakar and said quietly, "We judged him because he was slow." Rami replied calmly, "The world always laughs at patience, because patience works in silence, and silence is easy to misunderstand." 4 years later, Bakar passed away peacefully. On the same mountain path he had walked 1,000 times, beside the same rocky slope where Rami had once sat in the dust, too tired to continue, and Bakar had walked back 2 steps and waited. Rami buried him there, under the old pine tree overlooking the valley, and on a simple stone, he carved 6 words. Slow steps, every day, never stopped. People came from across the village, even the horse owners, even the men who had laughed. They stood quietly in front of that stone, because there was nothing left to say that the stone had not already said. And that is the power of patience. Not the patience of someone sitting still and waiting for life to improve, but the patience of someone who keeps moving, slowly, quietly, without applause, even when the road is icy, even when the load is heavy, even when no one believes the destination exists. Rami did not become successful because he was talented. He did not succeed because he was lucky. He succeeded because every single morning, while others were still arguing about which road was faster, he and his slow donkey were already walking. That is the inspirational story of Rami and Bakar. And if your life feels slow right now, if your progress feels invisible, if the road you are walking feels longer and harder than everyone else's, I want you to remember one thing. Bakar never looked fast, but Bakar always arrived. The power of patience does not ask for your applause. It only asks for one thing, that you keep walking,